All right, guys, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the bear flag into Vwap trade. We've got a bunch of shorts and a few videos on this trade. Today's example is going to be on one of the things you want to look out for as a signal that it's most likely not going to work, right? So today we had a couple of bear flags into Vwap. We started off pretty weak on the open. We sold off. We bounced back into the daily Vwap, a little bit of a wick above it. And then we sold pretty aggressively. So that's kind of the standard thing you want to look for on that Vwap trade. You broke the low, pretty aggressive. But the second time around, you had a bounce back into Vwap here. Same thing, looked pretty good. You started to sell off. But this is where the problem started. So with these bear flags into Vwap, we do not ever want to see this where it fails to put in these lows. So if you were in that entry there, let's say you took an entry somewhere around Vwap, somewhere around 43 to 44, stop loss above Vwap, very standard. And then you started to pull down, and it gave you a little less than 10 points. And then it started to bounce. So when it started to bounce here, you're bouncing before the prior low. And this should be breaking that low fairly easily. So that's your first sign that this trade is getting very weak. So right when that starts to happen, you probably want to bring your stop loss to break even, or just go ahead and exit the trade if you're already up a certain amount of points and you feel like it's given you enough. So if you're already at like your first target or relatively close, go ahead and exit it, or just tighten your stop loss. And same thing on NASDAQ down here. This was more of a flat level. So you bounced back into Vwap, but then you kept putting in these supports. You were not able to take out that prior low. So if you start seeing something like that where you find a lot of support on one level, or you're putting in higher lows, you probably want to tighten up that stop loss or close that trade entirely. Okay. So be careful when you see that. You do not want to see higher lows. You do not want to see flat lows on a bear flag into Vwap.